Hey, what's going on, everyone? I am back for another Slim Sports interview. And as always, I am your host, Jay Slim. Joining me today is Mr. Efficiency himself, my guy from my JUCO days down in Florida, Justin Archer. How's it going, Jay Arch?
The timeline and a frantic possession as it's tossed underneath, and Archer finishes it off. The icing of the cake for the Radford Highlanders.
How you doing? How you doing? Appreciate you having me back on.
Absolutely, man. Always happy to have you on. I saw you during your JUCO career down at FSW. That's where we originally met. And these past 2 years, you've been killing it at Radford, helped them to a great season your first year there. And this past season, I mean, you just took off, not just as a leader off the court, but especially on the court. And I call you Mr. Efficiency for a reason. 70% from the field. You made 70% of your shots throughout this season. Absolutely incredible. We'll get into that in a sec. But talk me real quick about these past 2 years at Radford. I mentioned that first year you ended up leading them to a great season, 19 and 14 overall. This past season, you guys went 16 and 17, kind of little bump in the road type thing there. What would you say was the biggest difference this past year compared to your first year with the Highlanders?
The first year we had a lot of older guys, grad students, some guys that were there previously before everybody else. They kind of like brought us together as a team. But as far as this year, we just dealt with a lot of injuries. That was really all it is. We had all the talent. We were projected to be, one of the top teams, either number one, number two in the league. But injuries just got a hold of us. Some of the new guys that came in, they got hurt. Then some of the returning guys, they ended up getting hurt. So the camaraderie just wasn't there. But as far as everything else, like we tried our best. We dealt different lineups in different situations. We made the best situation we had possible. So, that's all. That's really all it was.
And I know, obviously, you were a big part of their team. You talk about the different lineups. The one constant for sure was Justin Archer was always standing there in that 5 spot. And that was because of the production that you had night after night. 8.6 points per game, 8 rebounds. And like I mentioned before, shooting 70% from the field, absolutely dominant. You've always really had a great efficiency on the floor from JUCO to D1. No matter where you've played at, you've always been able to find a way to put the ball in the basket. Talk me real quick about what you've done to become so dominant on the floor to where you're able to have such a solid touch at the rim when you're trying to make your shots.
I just continue working my craft. Make sure I get in the gym, extra shots up. Just make shots and make plays that I know I take in the game. So any opportunity that I get, that's around the basket, look to finish strong and powerful. Outside of that, I learned a lot from my first JUCO coach at Vincent. He, taught me some, good pointers to how to, since I'm not the tallest, how to shoot over bigger guys, how to get my shot off. So, that kind of played a factor too, but just always, staying in the gym and taking shots I know I'm taking the game. Just continue to work at that, and then that's just how it translated.
Yeah, that soft little finger roll touch that you have every
Yeah.
single time. I have flashbacks back to the FSW days. You've always had a very strong post presence, and your rebounds, the offensive rebounds, you just have a patience about it where when you grab it, you have that pump fake and it's like you watch them just fly through the air trying to block it, and then you go up. So many people they rush it. They try to go so quickly that they get blocked or they end up missing again. Talk me real quick about the patience that you have on the court to kind of let the game come to you rather than trying to rush it yourself.
Like you said, I base my game off efficiency. So, angles, how to get myself in good position and scoring position. I try not to take like no bad shots. I try to take the best shot possible that I know that's important for my team, for myself. So, just doing that, just staying calm, staying poised, make sure I get to my spots. That's like the number one most important part of it is just make sure you get into your spots and know where you're fishing at, know where you're good at. So that's kind of why I take pride and I just, it just always translated from that point on. Flashy not always the best option. The main goal of the game is to, put the ball in the basket, and that's kind of what I do.
Yeah, I know you take a lot of pride on that efficiency rather than those, trying to make those highlight plays, you try to make the plays that help your team win. You do have a few
Exactly.
highlight plays, I will say that, quite a few dunks throughout the season.
Yes, yes.
I see you bodying people every now and then. And I know you took a huge step up in the postseason this past year. I know your first year with Radford, when postseason play came into action,
Mhm,
you you were still a presence on the floor. You did a very good job, but the scoring numbers weren't the same.
mhm,
Rebound numbers were all right. But this
mhm,
past season, especially that first round against USC Upstate, you ended
mhm.
up having a career high of 21 points to go with 14 rebounds in a big win over
Right.
Upstate. Talk to me real quick about what really clicked when the postseason hit, heading into that Big South tournament, to where you just kind of went off and helped your team get that first round win.
First year was my first year, playing D1, so the postseason was a little bit different. It was kind of new to me. So the second year, I kind of understood the tempo, the play style, and everything. And then I had a lot of guys on my team that I was really bonding with. It was their last year. I didn't want nobody to go out like that. I wanted to get the win for everybody. We didn't have like the best regular season. I know if I, just step it up just one, put in an extra gear, we can get over that hump. So that's kind of where my mind was at. I was trying to get a ring, win our conference. Like that's kind of where we was projected at to begin with. So that second gear just clicked in my head is like whatever it takes to win. Like I'm not the main scorer, the leading scorer on the team. I kind of do, you know, most likely just do the dirty work. Help the guys out, whatever they're lacking in. I try to pick it up in, but the opportunity came. The scoring opportunity came. They trusted me. They know all the work I put in. They just kept feeding me the ball, and we just kept going. I just tried to will them to win. Things happen, but as far as that, like I just try to get us to win and make sure our seniors' last run was the best one they had. So that's kind of what it was.
Yeah, and I mean, you followed up that game with another double-double in the next round of that Big South tournament. And throughout your 2-year career at Radford, you had some great games. This past season, you actually helped lead them to a Power Five win over West Virginia. You had 12 points and 11 rebounds in that matchup. So, I mean, you helped them to some great success over those 2 years. Now, obviously, you've entered the transfer portal. You're going to be spending your final year at another university, which we'll get into that here in a sec as well. But talk to me real quick about those 2 years at Radford. What would you say that really did for you, both as a player and as a person, when you look back on that?
Um, First going into it, I was in JUCO for 2 years, and my number one goal was, just to make it to D1. Like that's kind of what everybody strive for. And when I got there and got the opportunity, I just worked as hard as I could to, show that I belong. So, the first 2 years, it just, patience, being grateful for the position I'm at. And then once I started seeing success, I know I can really, go further with what I got going on. So, love the coaching staff, treated me like family. Built a lot of relationship with the players there. I was able to get a couple of my guys that I knew from like my hometown, whatever the case is, back to playing with me. So that was cool in itself. So overall, I love my time there at Radford. They gave me the opportunity to live my dream, and that's kind of what it was.
Yeah, and now you entered into that transfer portal. I know that's always a very tough decision for
Yeah.
people to make. You obviously being now a graduate transfer, you have that one extra year thanks to the COVID eligibility rule, where because of that COVID year, you get that year back. And now you entered the transfer portal, now heading off to Georgia State to play for them for your
Mhm.
final year of college basketball. Talk to me real quick about that process, both what made you decide to enter that portal and what made you choose Georgia State specifically?
The process was a little tough. My main goal was, to end up going to school back home only because it's gonna be my last year. My family, they didn't really get the opportunity to see a lot of games, so I just tried to make that, my main focus. But the schools that reached out just wasn't the best situation for me. Georgia State, they were on me as soon as I got into the transfer portal. So I appreciate that. So that means they really cared about me. They really, felt that I would help, the program. So that's kind of why I made that decision to go there. And then once I got, took a visit, they showed me uh the city. The city was nice. The facilities, everything they had out here was, opened my eyes. And not only that, they took me to a business building. that's not even affiliated with the school. That I want to do things outside of basketball with entrepreneurship, real estate, and owning my own business. So they took me around something called the Rice Building. They took me that showed me a lot of love over there, a lot of black entrepreneurs, and that kind of opened my eyes up. So that's kind of like what also helped my decision.
Yeah, and Georgia State's in a very tough conference, a Sun Belt conference.
Yes,
Got to shout out, obviously, you are an FSW alumni. That was where you graduated JUCO from.
yes,
You're
sir.
going against your old assistant coach from the JUCO ranks, Kente Hart, who's an assistant coach at Georgia Southern, and
Hmm.
he's bringing in a couple of FSW alumni and Bradley Douglas and Tyson Brown, who were there the year
Yep.
after you left.
Hmm.
So I'm definitely gonna be tuned in for that game. You already know nothing
Exactly,
is taken
exactly.
away
Yes,
from watching you
yes.
going against Tyson Brown. Uh,
Hmm.
I gotta see who has the most rebounds in that. I gotta put some bets on it, that's for sure. But obviously you're going into this whole new system. You know, you were at Radford the past 2 years. Now you're going to Georgia State, where you weren't in their system last year. So now you have to
Hmm.
learn the whole new system, get used to all of these new
Right.
players around you.
Hmm.
What are some of these changes that you're expecting specifically that you're going to have to make both on and off the floor as in order to blend into their system right away?
Um, the main thing is like I'm one of the oldest guys on the team, so being a leader is kind of like what's expected now. Before I was kind of sitting in the back seat and people were ahead of me, trying to learn, and listen, and gain as much knowledge as I could. But now, I transitioned here as a grad student. So I kind of got to teach the younger guys. They kind of make it a focus too. Just not only, this is my last year. Of course, we're trying to win, but try to help the young guys as well. Try to build them up because when I leave, they're going to be the next ones up. So got to lead by example, lead by vocal leadership. So just doing that and showing them the right path, the right things to do on and off the court. That's kind of the main thing I got to learn and adjust to. I'm not really a vocal guy, but coming into this situation, the only way they're gonna learn is if I talk to them and show them. So that's kind of like the main thing. And as far as on the court stuff, when you go through the college thing so much, it's not that big of a difference. You got certain systems, but once you play your style, you play to win. You just always want to be able to play. You want to win more than you want to play. So you go into that mindset, everything works itself out always.
Absolutely. I love you talking about how you want to be more vocal. I remember I used to
Yes.
call you the silent assassin every now and then at FSW because you would make these incredible plays and most guys, would be screaming their heads off, cheering for themselves. You just went down like, yeah, I did that. It's all right. Definitely love hearing you say that.
Yeah.
I know coaches, when they're recruiting people out of the portal, they always have, kind of a sales pitch, so to speak, as far as, we're expecting you to do this. We want to help you improve on that. We want your role to be this. Talk to me real quick about that pitch that Georgia State kind of had for you as far as their expectations for you with their program and how they're going to help you get better throughout this upcoming off season and the upcoming season itself.
The main thing was is just we're trying to win. We're trying to win Sun Belt championship, so they know I come from winning situations. I make winning plays. I play to win, so that's kind of like something they brought on. You got to bring that mentality over. They didn't have the best year the year before me, so they're bringing as much guys as they can. That's kind of on the same mindset that got the winning mentality that do whatever it takes to win. So that's kind of like the main thing they brought in with me. Uh, I'm not here to just lollygag or whatever the case is. I'm here to play, give it all I got, so that way we're the ones cutting down the net for the conference and getting into March Madness. So they expected me to be productive and I told them like what it is. We're here to win. I'm not here to my last year, so they said if we get a ring, and that's the failure. So if we get a ring or we fail. So that's kind of like the mindset. So we got a good understanding. I'm gonna do my thing on the court just as far as like I said, still being efficient, still offensive rebound, still playing hard on defense, still just playing hard in general, but just getting us over that hump. That's the main thing.
Absolutely. And you're preaching that winning mentality. You're talking about, wanting to go to the NCAA tournament, every Division I player's dream to make it to March Madness. Talk to me real quick about this team and what they need to do, not just yourself specifically, but everyone around you, your teammates, coaching staff, everybody needs to do in order to get Georgia State to that NCAA tournament.
I'll mostly just say buy into what the coach is saying. They're not going to tell us wrong. They know the system they want to run. They know you got one of my coaches. He was an NBA player, so he knows what it takes. The head coach, he knows what it takes. He preaches us the same thing. One band, one sound. That's like the main thing he's telling us. We just got to be together. Stay on the same page. Be responsible for your brother, and that's going to help us. That's going to help us win. Uh, Mostly trying to make us a player-led team, just hold ourselves accountable. Winning is hard; it's not easy. So we go into the same mindset of doing what we got to do every single day. Um, we're gonna make it far. So that's kind of what that is. I know a lot of teams they just play based on talent. We got all the talent in the world on the team, but if we don't come together, we play together, we play the right way. It's not really gonna work. So they gonna make sure we get it right. They're gonna put us in the best position to be successful. We just gotta buy into what they're saying.
Absolutely, man. And I've been following your career this long. You already know I'm going to keep on following your career, watching you at Georgia State next season, and then eventually into the pros when you begin your career at the professional level, man.
Exactly.
I'm beyond blessed to say that I can call you my brother, call you a supporter of my brand. You've really helped me out a lot throughout the years, man. So I thank you for that, and thank you so much for doing this interview.
Of course, likewise, so I live on this. Appreciate you.